morning, cult members, and welcome to Pop Culture Cult. This is Sean, and this is going to be our spoiler review. I'm going to say spoilers because there's some stuff at the end that I would like to talk about of The Bad Batch, Episode 1, Season 1, the very first episode, and it's called Aftermath. Now, when they announced this series after the 4-episode thing that we got in the Clone Wars Season 7, I was hesitant. It felt weird to do a story outside of what the Clone Wars was with Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka and all that kind of stuff. But after watching that 4-episode arc again and seeing the trailers, I was excited about this show. With all that being said, I also thought, knowing that it was going to be 16 episodes, that they were going to deal with everything in and around Order 66, and that was going to be the main part of what the show is going to be about over the course of that first season. I did not expect them to, within the first 5 minutes, execute Order 66. And it was shocking to me that that was the thing that they decided to start with. And it makes complete sense because this is more about the clones, Clone Troop 99, the Bad Batch, about them being their own individual people outside of being a heavy-hitting unit inside the clone army itself. I really like that. I really like that they decided to do that. And I'm excited to see what going forward that's going to mean. They become bounty hunters? Do they become their own little army? Whatever it ends up being, I'm here for it. When they have all the stuff around Order 66, there was a Padawan by the name of Caleb who got, believe it was Caleb, who got away. And I find it very interesting that that's how they introduce Caleb Doom. Now, I love Rebels. I'm going to say something highly, highly controversial in the Star Wars community. I prefer Rebels over the Clone Wars animated series because of the relationship between Kanan and Ezra. And so them introducing Caleb Doom this way, and that how he was directly involved with Order 66 and the Bad Batch, and, all that stuff. I just love that that's how he gets away. I don't like it when they start introducing new Jedi who escaped Order 66, but this was a good way of connecting some tissue going on forward. Going to Kamino and having the Bad Batch's home base be Kamino was really kind of fun too. You get to see the contrast between how they are as a group and how they are all individual, and then you get the clone troopers who have been activated and their rigid utilitarian, sure, that's a word, view of the world. Like, I really like the contrast. Having Tarkin show up to test them, to question them. I love that they showed the exact speech that Tarkin gives at the end of Attack of the Clones, of Revenge of the Sith, about the Galactic Empire. I love that they use that exact thing, but they put it up on the Jumbotron inside Kamino where all the troopers are watching. And I love how Wrecker and Hunter and Tech are all looking at each other like, this is messed up, right? The introduction of Omega is, we have to remember as more mature adult Star Wars fans, that Star Wars is for 12-year-olds. And I'm not even upset. But the idea of having a new animated show that's based on a really dark period within Star Wars and Star Wars storytelling, the end of Clone Wars is very dark and very sad. And is very adult in the storytelling that we get there at the end. And so when you're picking up essentially from the end of that with the Bad Batch, you have to remind yourself too that this show is also for kids and about life lessons and stuff like that. And the introduction of Omega is a really good addition to the Bad Batch as a whole. It grounds them in reality that I don't think they really had up to this point, because they are now going to have to take care of somebody. Somebody who is younger, also enhanced like they are, but they're going to have to spend time learning how to raise a kid. And it's always fun watching people who come from one point of view of the world having to adjust everything they know and believe for another part of the world. And military guys who are only around to destroy clankers now have to raise a little girl, and that's going to be hilarity ensuing. And she's going to have a direct relationship with Wrecker because of the doll. So I really like that. Them getting captured and Tarkin calling them treason because they did not kill off Saw Gerrera, which I love that they introduced Saw here. It's also Saw with not the guerrilla tactics, complete despair of the world that he has later on, but in Rebels, it's much more of it's the in between what we got in Clone Wars and what we got with Rebels with Saw, and not even to Rogue One, where he's mostly a machine living off a ventilator kind of thing. I'm interested if they go to tell that story at some point in time. I'm here for it. But when Hunter stands down and doesn't kill the insurgents on Alderaan, I liked showing that they are free thinking outside of Crosshairs, and Crosshairs is the one that is manipulated by Tarkin to change his chip back to a more regimented. He was already a follow orders kind of guy anyways, and the chip enhanced that, even though he was not directly affected by Order 66. It was enough there that he had his issues with it, and then they enhanced the chip, so now he's just straight out working for Tarkin and the Empire. And I love his all black Death Trooper outfit too, which I thought was kind of a nice little touch. Again, for those who know what those Death Troopers are and everything, I'm liking what I saw. Let's talk about the animation for real quick before we get out of here. The animation is just amazing. It's so cinematic, and more than once there were shots where I was like, "Wow, that's an awesome." The Caleb on one side of the ravine and Hunter on the other side with the waterfall being framed by them was just a great shot. And then when they jump to hyperspace and you get the reflection of hyperspace in Omega's eyes, that was really cool too. Overall, I'm really, really, really happy with this first episode. Now we're going to do week-to-week reaction reviews of the episodes, but they should all be smaller episodes. 30, 35 minutes is what I'm thinking. And I'm interested where they're going to go with this. We know we're getting Finnick. We'll probably see Saw again. I wouldn't be surprised if other secondary, third level characters are around. I wouldn't be surprised if Afra shows up. So I'm interested to see where this is going to go. And with following the Bad Batch around will be interesting, but also the background of having the new Galactic Empire setting up roots and them maybe trying to help small systems try to stay out from underneath the wing of the Empire might be an interesting story that they might tell. But this is just one season. I'm sure Filoni has like a 4-season arc that he wants to tell. So that's my thoughts on the first episode of The Bad Batch called Aftermath. Let us know what you thought of this episode and our reaction to it in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and follow us on all the social media stuff, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, you whippersnappers. And until next time, cult members, happy Star Wars Day, and may the Force be with you always.